Hello there guys, welcome to the channel Talking with Jay Spirit. In today's video I'm continuing our journey to Hobbs and Shaw, reviewing all the Fast and Furious franchise. Don't forget to check out yesterday's video where I talked about the first movie of the franchise, The Fast and the Furious. But on today's video I'm going to be talking about Too Fast, Too Furious, so stay tuned. Don't forget to let me know your ratings and thoughts down below in that comment section, of course. But without further ado guys, let's jump straight into it. Too Fast, Too Furious. This came out in 2003 and it's an action crime thriller movie around 1 hour and 47 minutes long. The story of this is former cop Brian O'Connor is called upon to bust a dangerous criminal and he recruits the help of his former childhood friend and street racer who has a chance to redeem himself. Straight into the good points. Now the good points about this movie is technically this movie was great. Like the first movie, it had some cool editing and effects and also had some awesome locations and cinematography throughout. It really was great. And another good thing is this had different to the first movie was the comedy. The comedy was great throughout this movie. It had some really great upside moments which really can make you giggle even if it's a little bit cheesy. I really like that. And it also was that cool racing action which you got from the first movie. Maybe not as much, but still there was some in there. And I think Paul Walker as Brian is one of the key things about this movie. Paul Walker coming from the first movie as Brian, we really sort of bonded with him, had a relationship, understand the character, and we get to find a bit more about him in this movie. Alongside him we have Tyrese Gibson playing as Roman Pierce. Obviously I noticed with the franchise they like to include artists and use their music, and Tyrese is another one just like that really, but Tyrese added the comedy element perfectly throughout the movie. I really did enjoy him as a character, and he also was built quite well for the role as well. I think he was quite intimidating. It sort of reminded me of a little bit of Rush Hour in their little comedy moments together and stuff like their chemistry together. It was great. It just really was something unique which at that time they needed in the Fast and Furious franchise. And also I think Eva Mendes was in this movie as Monica. I felt like she was okay. She didn't have like outstanding performance like the other two did, but I feel like she was okay throughout the movie. She added a character to the movie which was needed. Obviously she was undercover as well, and there was sort of a little bit of question marks over her for Brian and obviously Roman. They didn't know whether she was actually being good or she's just pretending to and stuff like that. It was a great character to be added to the story, as well as Carl Hauser playing as Carter Verone, the bad guy of the movie. I felt like he was an awesome bad guy. Now I've had a lot of people gun this guy down. I know he's not the best of the best, but he was that gangster type bad guy that was rich. He knew he was rich. He used his money, and there was one great scene with him though, was where he used the rat in a bucket, torching the bucket on a guy's belly, so the only way the rat can go is in his belly, and the rat was scratching and biting, and it was just interrogation to buy some time for them to steal whatever he wanted to and get it to him pretty much, to take their cut as well at the end. But yeah, it was a great scene. He was really intimidating, and when he showed his rage moments, it was really good. And I like the fact he was controlling over Eva Mendes' character. We have other great characters in this movie as well. Ludacris is playing in this movie again. I feel like he's a great character. We have Suki, we have Enrique and Roberto. They were quite cool together. My favourite scene in this movie is where Roman takes the FBI agent's meal, and the FBI agent goes, "Hey, that's mine." He goes, "So?" Just the way his expression, and he just starts eating it. It just really gets me every time. I don't know why. It's so basic, so simple, but it just really makes me laugh every time. But the last good point I want to say is, another thing a lot of people disagree with me on is I think the title of the movie works. Just for this movie, because it's number 2, Too Fast, Too Furious. It sort of makes sense. It's sort of catchy. It's understandable. You remember it. On to the bad points. Now, the bad points about this movie is they got rid of most of the characters from the first movie in this movie. They just completely wiped them out. Now, that took a bit of a detour down in a different direction. I understand they tried to do something different, but really, it just really went downhill really, because I bonded with most of the relationships from the first movie. I sort of had moments with them, you got a story out of them, and then suddenly they disappear. It's like, what the hell just happened so much? Now, I know they decided to introduce new characters, and some of them characters do make a hit later on, and are understandably introduced into this movie, like Roman Pierce himself, but there is goods and bads to everything when it comes to removing most of your characters from the first movie, pretty much. Now, another thing is, most of the movie can be very far-fetched. Now, I know, as mentioned in the previous one, a lot of Fast and Furious stuff is far-fetched. It's all stunts, it's all just being creative for entertainment, pretty much. Now, but this really, the car landing on the boat scene, for me, that is way out there, way too far-fetched. The distance from the car to the boat, there's no way that car is reaching that boat. And it's just something that's just logical that can't happen, and it really bugs me every time I watch the movie. And I understand it's just for entertainment and stuff like that, but it really does bug me. Also, the other thing is Brian in this movie. I didn't really like Brian because he came across as this cocky Superman type hero of the movie. He couldn't get shot, couldn't get crashed, or couldn't do nothing wrong. He was perfect in every way. I didn't like that. And how is Brian still a cop after letting Dom go in the first movie? Now, I know in the actual storyline it says former cop Brian, but why are they hiring somebody that let somebody go? It's sort of illogical. It's something that wouldn't happen in real life. That's another thing that bugs me. But the main downfall about this movie really is the writing and the script. It is terrible. From the beginning to the end, it's absolutely awful. I think some characters are repeating some of the phrases and the words that they're using in other scenes, and it's all to fit a character description, which is really boring and had minimal dialogue and interaction at all. It wasn't interesting throughout the whole movie for me. There was moments which I was enjoying it, and then when they started speaking, it was like... So guys, it's rating time. Let's have a look what the critics had to rate this movie. We have IMDb giving it a 5.9 out of 10, Rotten Tomatoes giving it a 36%, and Metacritic giving it a 38. My rating for this movie is a 6.8 out of 10. That makes this a good movie. Overall, guys, this is a decent watch. It has some entertaining values to it, especially when it comes to the Roman Pierce character. I feel like he was one of the main point, really, that made this movie excel and made this movie even watchable in a way, because he was so funny. His interaction with Brian and some of the things that happened between them two was really great. I feel like this is one of the movies which was needed because it introduces characters and story which we needed to know as we go on in the franchise. But really, I find it entertaining in its own way, but it's not the first one I go to. So guys, a 6.8 out of 10 from me for the Too Fast, Too Furious movie. Don't forget to leave your ratings and thoughts down below in that comment section, of course. Smash the thumbs up if you enjoyed this review. Let me know you enjoyed the content I'm giving you to continue the journey and give you more videos just like this one. And don't forget, if you're new here, consider subscribing and hitting that bell for much more when it comes to movies and TV series. This is the place for you, where we review, we react to trailers, and we rank from the worst to the best. There is a bunch of stuff coming. We're also continuing the journey tomorrow, where we talk about Tokyo Drift, which is going to be another movie in the series, so stay tuned for that, guys. Without further ado, I've been me, you've been you, and I'll see you next time, guys, on Talking with Jay Springer.